Hi guys, it's Josh Lloyd here for today's NBA DraftKings first look for Monday across the league. There are 8 games on. Before we get into them, hit the notification bell. You'll never miss an episode. Hit the thumbs up as well if you like what you see. Drop a comment down below as the video is going. Now let's talk games across the NBA for Monday. The first one we're going to take a look at, the Indiana Pacers and the Washington Wizards is that first game up. The Pacers, Malcolm Brogdon, Jeremy Lamb, and Goga Bitadze are all questionable. Ed Sumner was off the injury report, then he was put back on to be probable. Sabonis looks like he's ready to go as well. Russ Westbrook's $11,000. It's always hard to go past what Westbrook's doing. He's averaging 60 over the last 5. Almost one of the first blokes you'd put into your lineup, to be honest. He should be probably at 11.3, 11.5, maybe that sort of range. But, yeah, we'll take those wins when he gets there at 11. The center position, I have no idea. Dan Gaffert's played 20-plus minutes the last 2 games. Alex Len could be in the mix at 3,300, but he played 5 minutes last game. Trying to work out Scott Brooks' absolute nonsense is actually legitimately impossible in terms of that rotation. So you can throw one of them in because they're cheap enough with your Lens at 33 or your Gafford at 44. They can both have value. You don't use them together. I think we're all well aware of that. But trying to figure out what Brooks is going to do on an every game basis is literally impossible because he doesn't even know what he's doing most of the time. So therefore, how could we be expected to possibly understand the inner workings of a brilliant mind like that? All right, Brad Beal's at 9,500. Not that keen on it. I am keen on Domantas Sabonis at 9,800, especially if Brogdon is out. Sabonis returned last game and just dropped a casual 76, so we're pretty happy with that one. Levert's at 86. Maybe it's a little bit too high, while O'Shea Brissett is up to 6,700. Now, they're playing him an absolute shit ton of minutes. He's putting up a shit ton of points. Do I trust it? It's really hard to, but 47, 37, 49 in the last 3 games is great. But look at those minutes. Does he play 40 minutes a night every game from here on out if Goga and Lamb and Brogdon are back? Probably not, but maybe? I don't know. I wouldn't feel particularly comfortable with using him at that price. Bertans at 3,700 is probably not going to be a staple because he's been terrible, but there is obviously upside in using him there at that salary, and that's probably it for that game, I would say. Let's look at the next one. It's Orlando. They are taking on the Detroit Pistons. Sorry, the resting Detroit Pistons because they're going hard again. Those got Mason Plumlee must be extraordinarily tired. So is Corey Joseph. Same with Jeremy Grant. Same with Wayne Ellington because they rested 2 games in a row last week, and now they're sitting out this one as well. The poor guys must be hard. 5,600 for Joshy Jackson. Look, he was absolutely dreadful last game, and his last few games have been shitful, but I think he can be better than this, so I do like him. Mo Bamba's at 5,100. There is upside in using Bamba as well. He's getting 20 a night, and he generally can be a pretty good points per minute player. While Big Alf Stewart, 6,300 for Isaiah Stewart. Love that without Plumlee. Also like Mo Wagner, amazingly, at 4,600. He has been starting at power forward with Chuma Akiki out, and Akiki remains sidelined. Well, again, amazingly, I am looking at Dwayne Bacon. James Ennis is out. Carter Williams is out. Porter is out. Ross is out. So Bacon's going to get playing time. He's going to shoot a lot. He's not generally going to do a huge amount else, but it could be enough there. I love Cole Anthony at 6,900. I like Sadiq Bey at 59. Not 100% in on that, but I am 100% in on Frank Jackson, who is going to get a huge run of things with Joseph and Allington out. Wendell Carter, Gary Harris, they're not really the guys that are appealing for me. And watch for Hamidou Diallo being out in Detroit. Not that I'm keen on Diallo if he plays, but if he's out, that really boosts Frank Jackson again. Killian Hayes is going to play as well, and he could be somewhat of an option, although I don't think his DFS potential is particularly high. The next game we look at, the Golden State Warriors. They're taking on the New Orleans Pelicans. We know that Kelly Oubre is out. We know that Damian Lee is out, and now Andrew Wiggins has popped up as questionable. Steven Adams is also questionable for the Pelicans, and there's no Nickeil Alexander-Walker. He is out once more for those Pelicans. Adams at 4,700, I'm not really keen on. I'm more interested to see if he is out because we use Bill Hernan-Gomez, who's going to be a great option at 5,200. I love Kent Bazemore at 5,200, and I also like Jordan Poole at 4,500, especially if Andy Wiggins is out. Both of those guys will get a significant bump. Steph's at 10,800. That feels a little bit high, as does the 8,200 for Brandon Ingram, while Zion's up at 10,000. And I do think that Zion has got a pretty safe floor at 10,000, and he can easily hit 60 as well. So he's got value on both ends of the situation there. I don't think that we should be looking to avoid him or anything along those lines. In terms of other ones from that game, that probably will do it for me. Yeah, I don't think there's a Draymond Green maybe at 7,000. Lonzo Ball we've got to talk about actually. 7,800 for Lonzo. He's averaging a whopping 56 points over the last 3 games. Absolutely dominating. I'm happy to use him. Not keen on Eric Bledsoe though, but I am keen on using Lonzo Ball. Portland and Atlanta. This is a back-to-back for the Blazers. They took on the Celtics on Sunday. So they're in taking on the Hawks here on that back-to-back. In terms of the Hawks, in injuries, Bogdan Bogdanovic is probable. Tony Snell is questionable. We know that Hunter is out. We know that Reddish is out. Capella's at 8,700. Feels too high for me. I'm a little bit concerned about how the minutes go when Collins is there because he's played average 24 over the last 3 here, Capella. Lillard's at 92, and he looks to be a little bit back on track, so I don't mind using him at that reduced salary. While Nurkic at 71. I guess I worry that maybe they keep his minutes down on the back-to-back, but he could be in play. Bogdanovic at 7,500 looks all right. Not that keen on Johnny Collins. While Trae Young at 94, I also think going up against this defensive backcourt of Lillard and McCollum, I think Trae at 9,400 does make quite a bit of sense. Norm Powell's too high. Not interested in Enes Kanter or Chris Dunn or Bob Covington or even Danilo Gallinari there. Philadelphia and Chicago is the next one. This is a back-to-back for the Sixers, so I would be a little bit concerned about what they do with Joel Embiid in particular, and Toby Harris is dealing with a knee problem. Zach LaVine is doubtful for the Bulls, while Nikola Vucevic is questionable. Toby's at 6,900, which is a great price. I just worry that they limit him on the back-to-back here. And Embiid at 10,600, I'm avoiding. Simmons at 7,600 has some GPP upside, but that's about it. And 6,500 for Kobe White. Might be the last time you can even consider Kobe White if LaVine is going to return. Vooch is at 9,900, probably not there for me, but watch Thad Young at 6,100. If Vucevic happens to be ruled out, then Thad at 6,100 works, as does Daniel Tice at 4,600. Dwight Howard, a name to watch at 4,300. If Joel Embiid does happen to sit this one, Howard could put up 30 points in limited minutes, or not even limited minutes, as in a starting role if Embiid does happen to be sidelined. The Knicks, they are taking on the who are they taking on? Why have I missed that? The Memphis Grizzlies. That's the name of the team that they're taking on. It is a back-to-back for New York. Not that Tom Thibodeau cares for that. That doesn't mean anything to him. Taj Gibson's at 3,100. I like Taj's floor value. I wouldn't say his absolute ceiling is high, but the floor value is really, really strong for him. And Julius Randle at 10,300. We're always interested in Randle. We know he's going to get a shit ton of minutes and a shit ton of usage, so he can work. Quickly's at 37. Interesting GPP guy, but really hard again to trust Tom Thibodeau with the minutes. While Ron Barrett's at 6,800, and he is averaging 40 over the last 3. He is prone to stinkers, we know that, but I don't think that he's someone to completely avoid here. Morant at 85 is probably on the high side, especially against the Knicks. While Grayson Allen's questionable. If he is out, Melton gets a boost at 46 and Des Bane at 33 gets a boost, but I wouldn't feel particularly comfortable in using those guys in all scenarios. Spurs, Jazz. The Spurs rested a whole bunch of guys on Sunday. DeJounte Murray, DeMar DeRozan, Jakob Poeltl. I'm under the impression that they're all going to return and play in this game, but that is far from a guarantee. Jordy Clark, we know that Conley and Mitchell are out. Jordy Clarkson's at 7,300 for the Jazz. Yeah, maybe, but I'm not super in on it. Lonnie Walker at 39. I don't love Lonnie, but at sub 4,000, I'm in on it. And Gobert at 88. Feels like it's a bit high. In fact, this entire game feels a little bit stay away-ish unless we get Murray, Poeltl, DeRozan ruled out once more. They are priced pretty high. 83 for DeRozan, 74 for Murray, and 56 for Poeltl. But we do have to watch to see if they're ready to go. And then you can use your Eubankses and Walkers and Miltmore, Devin Vassell, and Keldon Johnson if those guys don't happen to play. But we expect those players to be in after a one-game rest on Sunday. The last game of the day is the Denver Nuggets taking on the Los Angeles Lakers. The Lakers are on a back-to-back here, so we don't know about LeBron. We don't know about Anthony Davis, whether those guys are going to be playing. We assume that they are, but we don't know that yet at this point. I like Facu at 4,600 for Denver. Campazzo is putting up some pretty solid numbers. Jokic at 10,900 is always a pretty good option now. Against the Lakers, did that harm him a little bit? Perhaps. So maybe we can transition that $11,000 onto Russell Westbrook. And we look at LeBron at 10,200. That's too high. I'm not interested there. I don't expect Dennis Schroeder to play with the health and safety protocols. Drummond at 7,000 is too high, while Michael Porter Jr. at 8,400. Now, Porter is playing at an extremely high level. 8,400 is a lot, but I don't think that it's crazy to consider using him. I wouldn't use Anthony Davis at 9,700 on the back-to-back. And again, I think the 7,000 for Andre Drummond is a little bit too high. If we look right across the slate now at where some values lie, I like Josh Jackson, Bumba, Isaiah Stewart, Taj Gibson, Mo Wagner, perhaps RJ Hampton, George Niang, Geordie Poole, Kent Bazemore, Russ Westbrook, Toby Harris if he plays, Dwayne Bacon is an option, Cole Anthony, Ben Simmons, and Nikola Jokic. Guys, that'll do it for me today. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, hit the thumbs up, and leave your comments down below. And find my show in the title in the description, Josh Lloyd Fantasy Basketball. Click that link there, guys. We are done here. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. See ya.